Good evening, sim racing fans, and welcome back to the Daytona International Speedway tonight on LSRTV for the iSuperspeedway.com Racing Series Season 4 and Feature Race 9 from Daytona Beach, Florida. Up in the LSRTV broadcast booth with you this evening on this Friday night, as always, alongside of myself, Evan Pasoko, is PDJ Zeller. PD, we're back at Daytona after what has been quite an interesting couple of weeks in this series. Made our debut at Daytona circa 07. That one was wild. Had our second biggest race, arguably, on the year just 1 week ago. The stars fell on Alabama 250. Now we kind of try to get back into a normal rhythm. It can't really happen all that much. Tonight is feature race number 9, but then immediately following this week, we have an off week. We have an all-star race, so they're in the middle portion of the season now, and this could be some drivers' one last good shot at really punching that ticket into the championship. It's overcast clouds, though, this evening in Daytona Beach. It's not very warm, as you would expect it to be in South Florida. Temperature is only reckoning at 76 degrees Fahrenheit. That means one good thing is the engine temps might have a little bit of assistance tonight, keeping them down. 20 laps, though, on tap to get tonight's action going into B-Main.
Should be an exciting one here from Daytona, and while these guys get ready to go up for the B-Main, well, I guess you could say a small field, 21 cars, actually 22. That's small for these guys, but compared to most leagues, that's actually quite notable size. Remember, it's only the B-Main. We're going to add 10 more cars to however many make it from the B-Main, and, well, that's 85%, so we'll see. Should be a good car count as always, though. Expect to see a lot of exciting action here as we get ready for the B-Main to get going. These cars just going around here, but yeah, last week we had a lot of fun, and expect a lot of the same action here, Evan, as we really are excited to see what can happen tonight. Should be, like I said, a little bit smaller field size than usual, but that doesn't mean that will be any less good racing here tonight.
So we're back on the normal smooth high banks of Daytona Beach, Florida, at the World Center of Racing. Qualifying currently going underway here. It's a 5-minute closed lap qualifier session. Only one lap, so you get the speed lap, and only one lap is going to count towards your actual qualifying time. So the speeds aren't going to be outrageous in this qualifying session, because typically if you're doing 2 laps, that second one that's going to be a little bit better. Right now, qualifying going through. Early pole to Greg Hooks. He was also fastest in practice, but still a lot going on with almost all of the drivers out on track at the moment. We look forward to tonight's race now again, PD. We talk about how things have been quite different these last couple of weeks. It's hard for these guys to get in a rhythm because it's getting swapped up on them so much more. We head to Daytona. One big thing I want to note tonight, and it's something that doesn't always happen, but it's something that we talk about, is a little bit of fuel strategy. This is obviously alluding to later on when we get to the A-Main, but we're going with a 20-lap B-Main, going to be a 40-lap A-Main later on once we get everybody gridded up. That means that there's going to be no question on if these drivers are going to be able to make it on one tank of fuel, which means that that's totally out of the equation and they can just go for it.
It should be an exciting one, and man, Corey Henry coming in at the last second. He's going to be the last one at this party. Doesn't necessarily mean he'll be the slowest, though. And, you know, I was talking to a lot of people in the garage area this week, and a lot of them were pointing towards the 88 machine as a car that could win the race. They said this race had a Jorgensen-type feel. They said Jorgensen usually wins the races at Daytona that aren't special events, aren't normally high car counts. That were normally the races where you find Mark Jorgensen coming through in the clutch. So a lot of guys said that tonight could be a Mark Jorgensen Jr. type of night. We'll see if that holds true, as he is currently on the pole, and, well, I mean, doesn't look like too many guys are going to be coming up there taking it from him, but obviously a bunch of guys still out there still have to turn in their second lap, so we'll see if anyone can overcome Mark Jorgensen here, and if Mark Jorgensen can maybe hold on to the pole here. That'd be nice for him and his camp, but as a lot of guys are now finishing up their times, it's still Jorgensen on top. Donnie Garantano just had a nice jump up to second, but with the exception of that, it does appear that it will be Jorgensen starting up front unless Austin Carver, Dana Osborne, or Corey Henry take that top spot. So minute left in qualifying, we're getting ready for what will be an eventful night for sure. And, well, 20 laps of B-Main action, that is always a good thing. Will we see the notorious big one on the last lap, or will it be maybe a surprise driver coming up there? And speaking of surprise driver coming up there, Dana Osborne up to second on the charts after practicing 16th. He now will be up there on the outside row, and if this holds true, it will be just a bunch of 8 on the front row.
Yeah, at the last second, coming in and almost stealing that pole position away from Mark Jorgensen Jr. Almost has the feel of this one as one of those open qualifier sessions. We go out there 15 minutes unlimited laps, how we've been keeping an eye live on the qualifying results. You see the top speed so far, Mark Jorgensen Jr., a 1:88.42 average speed around here again. And this would still be considered a warm-up lap if we were doing two, but via the league rules, I guess, down to only one lap to get qualifying in and underway. So it does appear that it is going to be a row of 8s on the front row. Just a couple of seconds left in the qualifying session before we officially get this one underway. Do want to make note that this evening our LSRTV in-race reporter is going to be a driver that is currently locked into the championship via a win earlier in the year in feature race 4, Seth the Merchant. Going to be talking with us on the radio later on in our event. That machine is already qualified in for the A main later on tonight. So qualifying officially down to a close. We get set for 20 laps of B main racing to set the field to get A main racing later on for feature race 9 with the iSuperspeedway.com racing series. We're glad to have you with us in Daytona Beach, Florida. Always exciting to go to the narrow high banks of Daytona Beach in the World Center of Racing. We talk about Daytona, a lot tougher to race on as far as close quarters than when we head to Talladega. We'll give it the LSRTV starting grid. Mark Jorgensen Jr., the number 88 Nationwide Chevrolet, will start on pole position. Can that machine pick up yet again another win in Daytona? Challenger immediately to the right-hand side, going to be the number 8, another Dale Earnhardt Jr. inspired Chevy. It's the Dew Shine Mountain Dew entry. That is Dana Osborne.
Just got an update quick here as the Dash for Cash has just completed here at Daytona. Tonight on the pole for the first time in his career, Karsten Nugent Tommaso will be starting on the pole, so that's going to be a little bit of a surprise here, and officially 16 plus 1 cars will come from this race. Now let's continue with the grid there. Just want to give you guys that update. In third tonight will be the number 2 of Donnie Garantano in the only Wicked Auto Sports machine not to win a race this season, and after a whole lot of work, Frank Busili the third won not too long ago, starting in 4th.
5th position going to go to the number 98 Napa Auto Parts Chevrolet. That's the patriotic paint scheme on Greg Hooks' entry. He'll roll from the inside of row 3 in 5th position. Outside in 6th, the number 78 machine, the AC Delco Chevy. That's Tony Fenn.
Jared Haggerty starting in 7th in his number 23 tonight, and in 8th will be Derek Walker in his number 4 Reese's Cup machine.
William Roberts Jr. Again, next week we're off for Memorial Day weekend. It's a Support the Troops Toyota Camry of William Roberts Jr., the number 09 on the inside of row 5 and 9th. Outside on him, how about the number 38 of Jeff Figlin rounding out our top 10.
In 11th is Rod Mitten in the number 92. In 12th, Dan Harrington. Just had some bad luck lately, but expect him to make his way through the field in the number 82.
Field rolls now from the pit lane behind the iRacing.com Ford First Mustang pace car. 13th position going to go to the number 83 Quick Trip Chevy of Ramon Evans. Alongside him, another driver that continues to search for results is the number 28 Toyota Camry. That's Shane McEachin, scored 14th.
15th tonight to Kent Connolly in the Alabama Crimson Tide 088. And in 16th, Sean Turner in the 36th.
17th position going to go to Daniel Ferguson, and alongside him and outside on this next row, number 9, the number 96 of Chad Keene in 18th.
19th, Jimmy Todd in the 18, and in 20th will be Matt Pelletier in the 27. I just want to say all our hard work promoting his email did find him a sponsor. Congratulations to Matt.
21st final car to put down a time in qualifying is going to be the number 21 of Ray Rittenauer the second, still sporting that Reebok Pittsburgh Penguins Ford Fusion, and as well behind him Corey Henry's Bud Light Platinum car will start 22nd. 23rd will be Austin Carver. You said it earlier, the magic number is 16 plus 1, so we're going to be sitting with the 6 drivers that don't get the ticket to the main event as they wish. That's something, and really the only thing to keep it on tonight. Sure, you want to win, but we have seen so many times in these B mains, somebody be in, they race hard on the last lap, next thing you know they wreck out, they do not qualify. Although this does determine starting position for the A main, just get that top 16. We're glad to have you with us on LSRTV. We get set to go racing in Daytona. The pace car down and away, no hesitation from atop the flag stand. Green flag drops, and it's the number 88 of Mark Jorgensen Jr. The Nationwide Chevrolet SS leads us down to quarter number 1 for the first time, side by side all the way through the pack from P2 on back.
Mark Jorgensen out front, battling for second now the whole field is side by side, essentially from third on back. Greg Hooks in his number 98 machine is trying to make a pass here on Dana Osborne, that 8 car, sticking it right up there on the outside, and well, we are going to see what he can do. Here he comes, and the number 8 is looking to make it happen here. Dana Osborne in the Dewshine machine wants to make it an all Dale Earnhardt Jr. paint scheme front row, and he has a good amount of help from Frank Busilia III, but it's too early in the race for him to have anything happen, so right now these guys will be flying on that. Oh, contact now with Jared Haggerty, number 8. It's funny, the guys down in the garage area, I was talking to Jared Haggerty before the race, and apparently there's a term that these drivers in these races like to use, and it's called Haggertying, and it's called putting your car where it doesn't belong and still making the pass while angering multiple drivers, and Jared Haggerty does promote that term, so he said it's okay to use without offending him, so I'm going to probably use that now. Thank you, Jared Haggerty, for your consent.
Alrighty, going to cause damage to both of those machines. The 8, you can see, they call it, if you want to go with some more term speed, they call it bird poop on top of the 8 machine. You see contact on the left side of that car, and it shows some scratching up on the roof of that machine, right at the base of the number 8. So that shows you that they made contact, a little bit of left side damage on the number 8 of Dana Osborne's machine, as well as a little bit less on the right-hand side of the 23 of Jared Haggerty. But the inside, total control right now by 3.5 car lengths into the travel. Caution flag will fly now. Trouble behind them in the tri-oval, reckon slowing them down early. Corey Henry, the number 25 machine, is destroyed. The front end on that machine all torn up, and very quickly, just on lap 2, going to come to our first caution flag on the evening, and I don't even know what to call this one. We're going to work on getting that LSRTV replay up for you. It starts back in the corner, a checkup with the 21. You're taking a look now. That forces Ray right now on the brakes. Corey Henry gets into the back of him, and not sure if he thought that Reebok Toyota, or rather the Reebok Ford Fusion was going down the pit lane, PD, or something, or he was really mad at him because he just turned right into him, took both those cars around.
Fortunate scenario for those guys. So Ray Rittenauer the third, and actually the second, I'm sorry, there's not a third Ray Rittenauer yet. So we will call him Ray Rittenauer the second. Sorry about that, Ray. But just tough incident there. Corey Henry obviously late in the session, getting some damage, usually contender. Tough break for him. Also update here, Evan, with something that I just got some information about. An I-5 contender this week, the number 42 of Elliott Leach, is not on the racetrack and will not be racing tonight due to his race hauler that he brought to the racetrack. One of the locks they don't have the key to, so that race car is stuck in the hauler until they get back to the shop, and he will not be out there tonight.
We also saw that one of our machines was out here for the I-5 bonus. We'll talk about that later on once we get to the A-main, as far as trying to walk away with what's going to be a $50 purse tonight if somebody can get the job done. Starting to close in on the $65 mark, which is so far the largest we have ever seen. Still 3 weeks removed from it getting to that point, but we have seen drivers, and again, you'll notice, so for those that tune in regularly on Friday nights, that the I-5 bonus, you'll have that orange number on your race car. Very easy to tell. We have had a situation in prior weeks where drivers come in the wrong number, PD, because a lot of these guys race in a handful of leagues. You have to change that number around. Sometimes they forget. We had an incident about 2 weeks ago. A driver came in I-5 eligible, did not put the orange on, and then another time earlier in the year had the wrong number. That disqualified them from eligibility for that. So you got to make sure you keep that car in a an eligible position to be able to still qualify for that. So Corey Henry's machine, talked about it, that car got torn up. He has dropped connection from the sim. He received a throughput fall to an unacceptable level. He is gone. Bad news for him because the damage was not all that bad. He may have been able to keep it going, get back up there with the leaders, and he would have been back outside the top 16, but still would have well been able to fight for it. Unfortunately enough for him, he has dropped connection. If he's able to join back, PD, it's still not going to be in enough time, I don't think, that he would be able to get back to the lead lap unless he gets a lot of wave rounds. Because, again, this one's really short. We see B mains, even at Talladega, which is, again, a little bit bigger than Daytona, 30-plus laps, somewhere in that range. Tonight, one of our shorter ones coming off of the, I guess we'll call it the second largest event of the season, just 1 week ago, with this 20-lap B main, followed up by a 40-lap at 100-mile A main just a little bit later on in the evening. But it is still Mark Jorgensen Jr. who leads. How about Donnie Giratano? We talked about a 20-minute practice before this. Two machine didn't need that. That's the Wrangler Chevrolet. Did not even put down one lap in practice and qualified up there in P3. He'll be to the outside. Now let's see how second does on this, because it did not work out for Dana Osborne last time, PD. That machine dropped back to 5th very quickly. He needs help from that 23 of Haggerty as well. Haggerty really needs help from William Roberts Jr. The outside is very difficult to build momentum right off of a restart.
And, well, I mean, the number 8, his biggest issue there was he actually held the outside lane. He's the first car on the outside lane for a while. He was doing a good job. It's just unrelated to the restart later on. He got in a little bit of a scuff there, ended up on the bottom lane, just trapped behind a bunch of cars. We'll see if Dana can come back from that. But really, it doesn't matter here. This race means nothing but a little bit of pride, I guess, and, of course, making the A-main. We'll see who can do that here with Mark Jorgensen starting on pole in this B-main, but he obviously is just here with the same goal as all 22 other cars to make the A-main. And, well, we will see if that is happening here for who, what, where, when, and why. 16 plus 1 making it right now, so obviously the cutoff is Shane McEachin, and I would assume you're, actually I really had no idea who your provisional would be here. There's a lot of people who are probably really close, I would assume, for it, though, as we get ready for yet another American Ethanol green flag restart.
It's going to come up right at 15 laps to go, so the first quarter of this race already down after an early caution flag and a trouble at a quarter number 4 that saw a strange incident with Corey Henry and Austin Carver. Henry has dropped out of the race. Austin Carver still out there on track, however heavily damaged, still within contention to qualify through. Pace car down to the safety of pit road. Not a lot of time to sit and wait on it here as opposed to Talladega. Green flag already drops the 88 on the accelerator. Green flag back out at Daytona, back down to quarter number 1, and a great restart on behalf of the 2 with Donnie Giratano. Problem is, once we go up into the banking, if you're on the outside, if you're down low, you're diving into it. That outside lane got to slow down. You see the 2 machine lose a car length. Right now, very crucial for that 23 of Haggerty to get on the back end for them to push and keep that momentum so that they don't slide back, because the 4 guys down low, all bumper to bumper.
Here now, and these guys are all nose to tail, fresh off the restart, and just starting to get a little bit racy with each other. Donnie Giarantano keeping it right up with there, but Haggerty's falling back quickly in that Eastern Carolina University Pirates machine, and, well, that's not going to help him out too much, because now that Wrangler machine needs some help, and he just simply don't got it, as we watch Greg Hooks push Mark Jorgensen now, and they are clearly in the lead, and it's now all about really when and where will the outside line form, because I don't know what you want to call them 2 cars on the outside, as they almost have an issue there. Haggerty pulls at Haggerty and pulls right in front of the 83. That was actually contact, and that was almost real nasty there, as now Haggerty's going to side draft with the car he has left out to hang. That is Donnie Giarantano in the number 2, and he will get in the line, so all single file throughout the whole field.
Nobody said you need to make friends trying to qualify for the A-main. We're 2 wide, 5 rows deep back in this pack here that still sits 20 cars deep. Only a handful of drivers have really fallen off of it, and it's only Ray Ritenour actually with that machine damaged. Austin Carver starting to slide off at number 16, so we do sit with 20 of them. The 5 cars upside, led by the number 78 rather. That's Tony Fenn. Behind him, the number 82 with Dan Harrington. Working with the 28 of Shane McEachin. We know McEachin can win races. That team, another story of just not having the results that are indicative of how strong that team has run. Sure, they got a couple of them up high here, but if they don't get any help inside the top 5, top 10, not going to get a whole lot of it. Speaking about it, how about William Roberts Jr. up high, all alone, to support the troops Toyota Camry? Not sure if it was the smartest idea, Petey. I'm sure he wanted somebody to go with him. He jumps up, side drafts along Busilia, and that may be all she wrote, because Frank now, that spot behind him has been quickly filled by the 23 of Jared Haggerty. And again, nobody upside until you get way back to Tony Fenn.
So, yeah, that's obviously an issue. Now, Frank Busili's thinking he might want to go up there. I don't like that idea, though, at this point in the race. I don't think you should do that, especially with 1 car up there to support you. 9 out of 10 times it will not work, but Jared Haggerty is considering his options right now, and while he's seeing if he can get enough people to go with him, I think Donnie Giarantano's just trying to fake him out there, but I'm not. I think he's very undecided at the moment as they continue to race down the backstretch, as this is very single file, not something you see too often in the iSuperspeedway series, and really, the single file racing is nice to see every now and then, because normally we have so much action it's hard to catch your breath. Right now, these guys have really done a fine job just surviving. They all are here with a common goal, and I mean, it's not like you have to win the race to reach your goal. You just have to finish at least 15th or 16th, and honestly, for most of these guys, this isn't that difficult, so we will see how they achieve their goal here. As right now, there's actually a really good battle going on for the transfer spot with Matt Pelletier and Tony Fenn. Those 2 going out door-to-door for the last transfer spot, so, you know, there's not a whole lot of action happening up front right now, but back there for the transfer spot, those guys are going hard at it.
Yeah, you talk about single file, they are not playing nice at all. We already saw that with how aggressively these drivers were going at each other's throats just to get down on that bottom lane. But now that they're there, again, all over each other, almost pushing. We've seen the top four be all connected in one big train a handful of times so far. The first car to look to the outside, and again, he's not committing like we saw happen earlier. Again, when the machine jumped to the high side of that 09 of William Roberts Jr., who, by the way, is still up there and is continuing to slide backwards on track. He did it, and he immediately pulled up next to Frank Basilia. Frank testing the waters to see if anybody will go with him. You see, he sticks a nose out to the outside, down to back straightaway. He would duck back in line if he doesn't get any support. Now he sees that 23 machine of Jared Haggerty might just go with him. That's the proper calculated move to make, PD, I believe. If you're that 94 car, don't commit right away. Step at a line, see who bites on it behind you, and once you know you're going to have some support, then you can try to make the move.
That'll be a key here in this race, is all these guys really don't have some. I mean, we're halfway through this thing, obviously, so these races just click by very quickly here, and while these guys all know it, they all know it's go time, but unfortunately in this race, go time has a completely different definition than go time in the A-main. In this race, go time means get it in a transfer position. In the A-main, go time means win the race, but right now we see these guys going pretty hard at it for the transfer spot as well. Right now, it's starting to get a little bit separated, actually, with this transfer spot. The top 16 are all under a blanket as we speak right now. The outside line's really done a nice job coming back through this time by. They're going to come by the flag stand, and, well, we're about to find out which one is the transfer spot. There's been a lot of shuffling, obviously, going back there as they finally get single-filed out. And if the race were to finish right now, the last car to make it would be it would be Jimmy Todd, but Dan Harrington's on the outside battling with him. So it looks like from this lead pack, there'll be 3 cars that don't transfer if we don't get another caution here. And these guys obviously all are going to continue to go at it here, so we'll see what happens. But side by side for the lead, Dana Osborne making it happen up there with help from Frank Bucilia the third. Bucilia pushing him for all he was worth, and man, that 8 is going after the 88 of Jorgensen. Them two have raced with each other for a very long time. They know how to do it, and they're showing it right now as we have a whole lot of friendly rivalries going on right now for the lead.
And they've been battling for about a lap and a half here, quite a long time after that 8 jump time. Surprised that Bucilia ended up with the Mountain Dew Do-Shine Chevrolet of Dana Osborne, because again, it looked like that Jared Haggerty was the one that was going to go with him, but I guess the 8 looked in the rearview mirror, said, let's get something going. They tried it. The 8 got nose to nose to the point where they were looking exactly like they did at the start of the race. However, it did not work out. Frank Bucilia has dropped the McDonald's Ford down in line, and now it looked like maybe that 8 machine, BD, was going to be forced to drop back in line, and it actually looked like Bucilia may be giving him that spot, trying to not leave him out to dry. That's not going to be the case, though. The 94 drives it in, and talk about betrayal. Dana Osborne, no friends down with the high side. They make contact now into the tri-oval. The 94 and the 8 were just working together. Now they're bitter rivals.
Side by side, door to door, and now they will get rejuvenated, but not without Jared Haggerty getting right up there. He almost makes contact. That Haggerty machine
he's up the hill a little
battered, but he is continuing. He makes contact. He turns the 94 almost. He saves it. That was another pole to Haggerty right there, as they're going to continue to move up here, and Jared Haggerty is trying to fight for all he's worth right now in that beaten up ECU machine. He wants to get a victory here. He really, really is pushing it 100% right now, and that lead draft is going to split up real quick because the 8 is simply not there to help the 94, and there's only so much. Oh, he gets turned by the 8, hard into the outside wall, up and over the 23 of Haggerty. Caution is out. That could possibly be the race as hard hits ensue afterwards. Tony Fenn making hard contact with Haggerty, but that could very possibly be the race. As you guys see the replay, Haggerty going for a very wild ride here at Daytona.
And you can't say you're surprised to see that happen after that 23 all over the racetrack, and it was a split decision on this one. You see the number 23 down on the bottom of the racetrack there, in line with the 98. The 8 machine up on the outside alongside him. What happens is the 8 machine, I think, was trying to get in line behind Frank Bucilia, and the 23 tried to go to the outside and work with him at the same time, and they made contact. So it does look like the 8 comes down and just turns him, but all he did was get in line with the other car that was on the outside in front of him. just bad timing. And you guys saw a great shot of it there on that head-on camera. They both just met each other, and Petey, you said again, Jared Haggerty's bad luck continues. A huge hit into the outside wall. Good news for the majority of the drivers, he was in the air for so long that a lot of them were able to get through. One straggler gets caught up in this. Tony Fenn comes through late. He plows into that, and I believe the AC Delco machine has lost the engine. They are done for the evening. The 8 machine going to be forced down the pit lane. Dana Osborne, again, now in a recovery mode, needs to hang on to a top 16. But again, Petey, just like that, things were calm, things were single file. A couple of people rather go up high, try to mix things up. And just like that, you have guys that were top 5 throughout this entire B main that now find themselves struggling to hang on to a top 16. And for some of them, they aren't even going to be able to finish this race. The 8 machine into the stall, quick fix back out. He'll still be outside of the top 16. And if we get a restart, he's not going to have a whole lot of time to pass the cars he needs to. It'll be close back there.
I'm really confused on why these guys came down pit road, and there wasn't just him either. Jeff Figlin also came down from a very good running position. The thing is, even if you do have a little bit of damage, most they're going to get for a restart's 1 lap, and by the time you get to turn 4, your car, that's really when you'll feel the damage. You should be okay until then. So we'll see what comes of that. I mean, even if your car was damaged, I'm a firm believer in staying out, but we will, I guess, see how it turns out for them. There aren't that many cars in the lead lap, only 20, 16 plus 1 making it. I do believe that it would either be Haggerty or the 8 that would get the transfer spot right now if it were to be the provisional, and so we'll see how that all works out. But obviously, lots of controversy late in this one. Some penalties that not penalties, some damage that had to be fixed on pit road, and we will see how that works out for Dana Osborne. Hopefully it works out for him. He has a very fast piece tonight. It would be a shame to see him not make the big show when he is obviously putting a lot of time and effort to getting it right tonight. We'll see if he can do that. He's going to have to pass a few cars, though. He is right behind Austin Carver in the number 16 machine. I mean, that Georgia Bulldogs machine, you know, he has to be the biggest surprise winner we've ever seen on LSRTV. Besides that one race he had won, I can't really remember ever talking about him, Evan. Like, Austin Carver, he's usually in the races. He usually minds his own business, though, and does his own thing.
You want to make a note on Jeff Figlin. That Roush Performance Ford Fusion was in an incident after the caution flag had gotten thrown. Kent Connolly in front of him in the 088 Toyota got onto the apron trying to avoid it. Slid came up, 38 plowed into the back of him. That is what led to the damage on Figlin's machine that caused them to come down to the pit lane. You don't really want to drive around there with front-end damage on these cars. You can bounce off somebody on the side, you can take a shot to the back end, but when you get nose damage, tonight may be the best night to get it if you got to, because such are cool temperatures that we're seeing, but that can send those engine temps straight up into the air if you're in a late race situation and you're trying to push. So we do slow them down. It's going to be a big moment if the lights go off on top of the iRacing.com Ford First Mustang pace car this next time around. There's a lot of drivers involved in that incident that really, Petey, need us to get one more lap in. If they go off, it will be a 1-lap shootout at Daytona. If they don't, it's going to end at a caution, and that would mean that the likes of Carver, Osborne, Figlin, Rittenauer, Fenn, Haggerty, and Henry don't get a chance to try to race for it. They have to gamble on what would be that final provisional, but I would anticipate at least the lights to go off, because last time we saw the first caution on lap number 2, went back green to lap number 6, about the same distance if we're able to get back going for lap 20 here. We'll have to see, though. The pace car rounding 4, lights still on for now.
Yeah, and we'll find out if they will go off, and I mean, a lot of guys races riding on this, so big hectic moment here as they come through turn 4 and down the little stretch here. I like to call it a short chute. They're going to come through the tri-oval, the pace car lights. Here's the answer to everyone's question. They're getting double fouled. I'm 90% sure they're about to restart, because these drivers obviously knew before we did. And yep, they're going to get a restart. So I kind of had a feeling, especially because a lot of drivers were radioing over, oh man, we're going to have a 1-lap shootout. But, you know, can never be too sure, so we are definitely having a restart now. And, well, here's the situation we are provided with. 20 cars, 16 spots, 1 provisional. 4 guys are going to leave this unhappy on the lead lap, and obviously there's going to be a lot of controversy near that transfer spot. I will try to bring you all the action near the transfer spot, Evan, but it's going to be a tough hill to climb for a couple of these guys in the back, and not a whole lot of time to do. You're going to have to restart, and that's about it. Going to have to do some wild restart stuff here if you want to make the show.
And it has been the B mains, more specifically the white flags on these B mains, that have been so exciting, so unpredictable all season long. We expect no different. We talked about how qualifying was only one lap instead of two. Talk about pushing that to the limit here, as far as these guys are barely going to be getting up to speed by the time they come out of quarter number 4 to the checkered. What that means is the draft, how they expect it to work if somebody's second line wants to jump out of line, not going to react like it would if these cars were up to full song. That, again, can as well be another factor. How crazy, though, does it get mid-pack, around 8th position, a couple of rows back in the pack here, where there's good where they run? How hard do they push it, and how hard is Austin Carver, Dana Osborne going to scrap? Chad Keen's got a big target on the back of his machine. He is right now the final transfer spot. For the final time to be made, the iRacing.com Ford First Mustang pace car dives to the safety of the pit lane. Jorgensen leads us to the stripe. 1 to go.
Here they go, off into the tribal, green flag in the air. Mark Jorgensen with a good restart here. Don't expect a whole lot to change up front, as they won't have enough time to get up to speed. It's more about the transfer spot now than ever, as Greg Hooks is trying to make something happen. I just don't believe they have enough time up here at the front to get the outside line up to full propel. So meanwhile in the back, there's a lot of crazy action going on side by side. Chad Keen's trying to make it happen. But up front, it's still about Greg Hooks down the back stretch, who has a mad run. He is trying to get it here. It's going to be a drag race off from turn 3 to Evan as these guys continue to go side by side. I will bring you updates on the transfer spot momentarily, Evan.
3 down low in this first charge. 2 up high. The number 88, Mark Jorgensen Jr., started on pole position. Can he take the checkered flag? No challenge behind him. He goes up high. He shuts the door. Greg Hooks to the outside with a push from Giratano. Side by side at the stripe. It's not going to be enough. And big wreck across the start-finish line. A huge pileup. Mark Jorgensen Jr. by 19 hundredths of a second. PD the transfer.
Side by side it was between Dana Osborne and Dan Harrington. On the outside, Harrington held off Dana Osborne by just 1 position, and to no prevail, Dana Osborne's comeback comes up 1 position short, as Mark Jorgensen went for a wild ride after the stripe, but it didn't matter to Jorgensen. He got the W. He's going to get out the backup car for the main event now, as Jorgensen is not going to be able to do too many burnouts because there is currently no motor or fuel tank or radiator or anything left on his race car.
And that was the entire field that wrecked down into quarter number 1 after the checkered flag flew. The 8 led. He had it. And what he did was he went to the high side to block the 98, who had a push from Donny Giratano. The 98 went to the high side, and it was the block that the 88 threw that wins him this race. If he did not go up there, it was going to be the Napa Auto Parts Chevrolet. Up on the high side, Greg Hooks, runner-up of the championship from 1 year ago, that was going to win this race. That block cost that outside just enough time, and if anything, almost Frank Busilia costs the outside lane a chance at a win, because he comes up and just clips the number 98 right before he comes to the start-finish line. The 98 bobbles the slightest bit. That was all that Mark Jorgensen needed to put the number 88 Nationwide Insurance Chevrolet into victory lane by 19 hundredths of a second over Greg Hooks. PD, the B main once again does not fail.
Actually had a chance to catch up with Mark Jorgensen, obviously not the big show here, but Mark Jorgensen, first thing I have to ask you is, are you okay after that wild ride you went through?
I can't see straight. Petey, I don't even know where I'm at. I mean, that was a wild ride. I think I got bounced around in the car there for, I don't know how many barrel rolls I did, but I hope it looked pretty cool. But I think I bounced my head off the roll cage, might have cracked my helmet. Looks like I might need to get me a new Nationwide helmet.
Yeah, new helmet, new race car, probably a new fire suit after that one, Mark. Hopefully have it all together for the race here, but hey, you're going to be starting 11th in the A-Main. I mean, sure, it's going to be a tough hill to climb here, Mark, but you started out right with a win in the B-Main. What are your goals for tonight?
Man, my only goal for tonight is to, obviously I want to win the race, but I just want to finish the race. The last couple of weeks have been pretty devastating. I've been running really, really good the last couple of weeks, just haven't been able to finish, been in some wrong spots, but I just plan on staying up front. Hopefully I can get to the lead and everybody just follows suit and just staying behind me, and I'll just have an easy victory. All
right, Mark. Well, obviously B-Main's a good one to win, but I mean, I gotta let you go here because we gotta get ready for the A-Main, but who do you gotta thank? Who makes it happen for you, number 88 crew?
Yeah, I'm going to have to say Rod Flag for putting this whole league together. Absolutely amazing what he does. Henrik Motorsports for giving me another good car, and my team for putting a good car up underneath me, and my sponsors nationwide. Hopefully I can get them another big win tonight.
Thank you for joining me, Mark, and I wish you luck, and good luck getting the backup car ready.
Appreciate it, Petey.
So that was Mark Jorgensen, your B-Main winner for tonight.
Well, tell you what, it was 1 week ago where his Henrik teammate Josh Hanner won. The stars fell on Alabama 250, where the 88 was facing the wrong direction on the last lap when he made a comment on how, well, he was in the post-race recap, but the car was facing the wrong direction. He's got a nice one tonight. He starts off the night on a good note. Can Henrik go back-to-back and punch another car into the championship? We'll find out in just a couple moments. The track is cleared. They're going to clean it up, and we get set 40 more laps go on top the scoring pylon. A-Main action and feature race 9 in the iSuperspeedway.com Racing Series live on LSRTV from Daytona Beach, Florida. Coming up in just a moment, we'll step away for the microphones. Mark Jorgensen Jr. takes the B-Main. A-Main action right on the other side.
Here's the thing that makes life so interesting. The theory of evolution claims only the strong shall survive. Maybe so. Maybe so. But the theory of competition says just because they're the strong doesn't mean they can't get their asses kicked. That's right. See, what every long shot come from behind underdog will tell you is this. The other guy may in fact be the favorite. The odds may be stacked against you, fair enough. But what the odds don't know is this isn't a math test. This is a completely different kind of test. One where passion has a funny way of trumping logic. So before you step up to the starting line, before the whistle blows and the clock starts ticking, just remember out here, the results don't always add up. No matter what the stats may say, and the experts may think, and the commentators may have predicted, when the race is on, all bets are off. Don't be surprised if somebody decides to flip the script and take a pass on yelling uncle. And then suddenly, as the old saying goes, we got ourselves a game.
Back live high atop the 2.5-mile super speedway here in Daytona Beach, Florida in the LSRTV broadcast booth. The A-Main now gets set to roll with the iSuperspeedway.com Racing Series. Glad you're still with us on LSRTV. Evan Pasoko, PD, Jay Zeller up in the broadcast booth. PD, you said the 88's going to be able to get the job done. That is exactly what that team did in remarkable fashion. Probably one of the closest finishes we've seen in a B-Main all season as far as the top 5, even the top 10 being so close together. 3 wide at the stripe, though. Now it's time to get down to business. That was just practice.
Yeah, well, now it's time for the big show. These guys know that. They know there's higher penalties, obviously, if you're to screw up and obviously finish poorly, and all these guys want to get out of here after 40 short laps with a good finish, a good day, and a reason to go home to the shop smiling, and that's what we're about to find out. Who will be the one leaving Daytona with a smile on their face? That is a question that we are all about to have answered in just 40 short laps. A lot of contenders, and like I said earlier to you guys, first time pole sitter tonight, it is Karsten DeJohn-Tommaso, or as the competitors like to call him, Karsten the Giant Tomato.
Yeah, it is DeJohn-Tommaso in the number 6 Chevrolet. It's going to roll from pole position. Outside on row number 1, the 14 machine, that's Robbie Roy in second. P3 is the number 48 of Josh Ball. That's the Lowe's Chevrolet. Another Hendrick entry going to be rolling from third position. 4th to the number 45 of Kyle Geary. Ronnie Wofford will start in 5th, and our winner from 1 week ago, but I-5 contender, the Drive to End Hunger number 24 Chevrolet of Josh Hanner. League President Rod Flagg's number 26 Cheerios machine will roll from 7th, 8th position to the number 51 of Jason Altman's. 9th is Chris Passini, and Mark Brown rounds out your top 10. 11th position to Matt Bontempi. Our LSRTV in-race reporter Seth the Merchant rolls from 12th. Those are the 12 drivers that qualified in through the heat races, and their starting order was determined via the Dash for Cash. Our winner in the B-Main, everybody from here on back, qualifying in through our 20-lap B-Main just moments ago. Mark Jorgensen Jr. rolls from 13th. 14th position is going to be Greg Hooks in this one. Frank Lucilia, 15th. 16th to Donnie Giratano. Ramon Evans in 17th. 18th position to Rod Minton. Derek Walker, 19th. 20th to Shane McEachin. 21st to Kent Connolly. 22nd, Matt Pelletier. 23rd, Sean Turner. 24th is Jimmy Todd. 25th, William Roberts Jr. Daniel Ferguson, 26th. 27th, Austin Carver. Dan Harrington, finishing 16th in the B-Main, takes home the final transfer spot, and then the provisional goes to the number 8 of Dana Osborne. We knew that Dushine Chevy was strong in the B-Main. Is it strong enough to pass 28 cars and be able to get up there and challenge for points, and most importantly, what everybody here wants if they haven't already done so, and that is a ticket into the iSuper Chase, which is slowly getting not all that far away. Only after tonight, 2 points races remain, which leaves us with only 2 opportunities to qualify in. If you're not inside the top 5 in points, it's really starting to get now down to crunch time in this chase for the championship. DeJohn-Tommaso will start from pole position. Lights are off on top of the iRacing.com Ford First Pace car. Going to dive down and away. We get set to go. Green flag racing from Daytona. A-Main action from the World Center of Racing. Green flag across the start-finish line. And we race down to quarter number 1, led by that number 6. Robbie Roy PD on the outside lane leads that charge. No help, though. Not a great start for Kyle Geary. Neither for that 24 of Josh Hanner.
As they race off in the corner number 1, Robbie Roy obviously wants to get with Karsten DeJohn-Tommaso. Those two are highly affiliated with each other. DeJohn-Tommaso talked to him before the race, excited about his first ever experience to run up here with the big boys in the front. He is so thrilled about this pole, but how long will it last? Well, I guess not long, because here comes Josh Ball. DeJohn-Tommaso has no help whatsoever, and he is going to get the lead taken from him. Might not even lead a lap before Josh Ball gets around him. And on the outside, Josh Ball is to the lead. So Karsten DeJohn-Tommaso from the pole will not even get to lead a single lap tonight, and he will be immediately shuffled back to the 4th position, and Robbie Roy is going to continue to reign on his outside here. Those two will probably get hooked up if the right opportunity arises, but those guys all right now going at it 100%, and well, for Karsten DeJohn-Tommaso, he is just going to have to try and find some help here. I mean, he's obviously a newcomer to the front. These guys don't recognize him. They don't want to help him right away. This is his race. He has to prove himself.
And you saw that coordinated move to the outside lane that puts Josh Ball's number 48 Lowe Chevrolet to the point right now, pushed by that 7, Rodney Wofford. 3 cars now, 4 with the advantage down low. So far, good progress for Rod Flack. He's bringing the 31 of Chris Bassini with him. Those cars who started a little bit deeper back in the pack in 7th and 9th, going to be scored in 4th and 6th across the start-finish line. You mentioned Robbie Roy, that 14 started on the outside P2, and significantly tonight, including the initial drop to the green flag at our B main, that was definitely not the place you wanted to be. Well, his drafting partner just dropped down in line, the number 45 machine of Kyle Geary, down to the bottom. Expect the 14 to do so the same. He will tuck in behind the number 51 machine of Jason Altmans, but not before sliding to 8th position. Tough one to swallow, but now he's back at a spot to be able to kind of get caught back up, catch his breath, and try to get something going. But a huge inside bottom lane charge all the way back to Seth the Merchant, who's the first car up high.
Really impressed with Kyle Geary right now, that number 45 Barbasol machine. He has made a huge turnaround since mid-season when he was running poorly. Lately, he has been running very well, and he's been making a name for himself in the series. Expect Kyle Geary to continue to grow off his talents here as they continue to race around Daytona. There's some pushing going on between Roy and Altman's in the corner. Remember, we don't mention it as much as we used to, but that is illegal to push in the corners for any new viewers tonight. You cannot push in the corners with this series. And, well, Robbie Roy is just going to go to the outside, and I don't think he meant to do that. I think he was just trying to get off the bumper to get some air to his nose, but unfortunately for him, that is going to cost him dearly, as he is going to have literally no help until Donnie Guarantano gets to him. But that might not be a bad thing, because here comes Donnie Guarantano and his teammate Seth the Merchant, who also happens to be our in-race reporter, and they're just going to go around Robbie Roy with absolutely no concern to Roy. And, well, Robbie Roy, I mean, in this league, he's known as an aggressive driver, and sometimes you'll notice the guys that are labeled as more aggressive do get left out more often than not, and it's up to them to make their own meal here, as I like to say, as Robbie Roy's going to fight for his own to get back to the front.
And almost that is, if you know somebody's fast and you want to go to the lead, it's probably not the smartest idea to assist the fast car to get to the top spot. So the 2 into 32, well-executed move to the outside, clear him, drop back down in line, and you can see just how fast they're moving through this field after being back around P12. Scored a 13th the last time by the start-finish line. Looking like they're going for a top 5 spot. You saw the 6 of Dijon Tommaso thought about going high. He doesn't. The 7 car does. Rodney Wofford to the outside lane. The Race Fan Racing Incorporated Chevy going to cut off the momentum. This time those drivers aren't able to go around him. And now the 7 going to be the lead car on the outside.
The 3 Wicked Autosports teammates are on the outside, and right now they're going pretty wickedly fast. Remember, we talked to Seth the Merchant and Rodney Wofford last week, and both of them said their goal is to get Donnie Guarantano a win, since, I mean, obviously that's the only teammate not in the chase yet. So, I mean, I expect them guys to help Donnie Guarantano out pretty hardcore tonight, as now Rodney Wofford is going to take over the top spot, except the Merchant to help here. I think he's hitting the brakes a little bit to find a hole here for Guarantano, although he didn't do it quick enough. He has to go to the outside with Guarantano. Now they will find a hole, and they will slide in the line momentarily. Those two are 2 very talented drivers who can make it happen on their own here, as now they have their teammate Rodney Wofford out front. Wofford in front of Josh Ball, and Carson John Tommaso, who's hanging up there in 3rd right now. So all these guys doing a fine job, and as we continue to look through this field, the 51 is about to go side by side with our B main winner. Mark Jorgensen Jr. is making it happen here. He comes, Chris Passini jumps to the outside. He is going to be forced to push Passini. He did not make a move quick enough to avoid him. Hits him right in the bumper, square on. They now have a mad run of steam coming up through this field as those two are making it happen. And man, them are 2 of the best looking cars in the field. You always like the professionalism. Obviously, this series has a bunch of great looking paint schemes, but I really like the looks of those 2 right now. As now we have a 4-car freight train with the Wicked Autosports guys choosing to work with them, and now we have 2 signified lines like usual here in the A main from Daytona for the iSuper Speedway race tonight. Oh, wreck in the back, Mark Brown, hard around. Oh man, that was no caution, but Mark Brown and Rod Mitten had an accident in the trial. Rod Mitten got turned by Mark Brown, and it all started on from there. Jimmy Todd was involved in it. Hard wreck, but no caution happened off the racetrack.
The 92 thought he was clear, and that was not the case. And Rod Mitten's number 92 National Guard Chevrolet comes down across the nose of the 73. Hard damage to Mitten, hard damage to Mark Brown. Jimmy Todd as well, also involved in this incident. No caution as you take a look at the replay. After that incident happened through the trial, we remain under green flag racing conditions. We talk about teammates being so important in plate track racing, especially when you need a win and you're in. It's a great point that you talked about there with the Wicked Autosports team. Wofford in, DeMerchant in. They need to get Giratano in. That 2 machine has not really had the results that I'm sure they have wanted throughout this season. Donnie sits 125 points back in the points in 18th. So there's no way that 2 car is going to be able to get a top 5 to lock his ticket in. What he needs is a win, and he has a great driver giving him the push. It's the Axe Energizer Chevrolet behind him pushing. That DeMerchant comes back to the series full-time this year, has run very, very strong. The issue for these 3 guys, PD, is there's a Henrik entry right in the middle of it all, that number 48, who equally as so wants to win really badly.
Really interesting scenario here now as all these guys are continuing to run fastly and furiously through this field at the moment. As we have a good battle going on, though, up front, like you noted, as the number 2 of Giratano's going to have a lot of help now from Josh Ball, who jumped to the outside in his Henrik number 48. He wants to get a win, and Josh Ball, with a big head of steam, will take over the lead in this one from the number 7, the Rodney Wofford. Now here comes the 2 of Giratano, though, with a lot of help from DeMerchant. DeMerchant, a.k.a. the Save Master, is getting a lot of side draft from Carson John Tommaso, who's kind of just stayed in this battle at a stalemate, not trying to get too heavily involved here as John Tommaso is. Now these guys going side by side, door to door. The number 2 machine will be flung back a little bit further back to Seth DeMerchant. Are they trying to get Rodney to the outside? That has to be a big question right now, and I think it might be the case because Rodney is showing signs of him going to the outside right now. He's just waiting until corner exit maybe. Is Rodney Wofford obviously wants to help his teammates get back to the lead, and here he's trying to time it just right, I think. Maybe not, because here comes Giratano and DeMerchant. For a while it really looked like Rodney wanted to come to the outside, but that's not the case because Giratano now, with a good run of steam, is to the outside of Wofford, and they just can't find their way up the ball. They need a little bit more help to make it happen.
Well, we've seen DeMerchant push. They get close, they back off, because the 32 needs some air to the front of that machine. You see he steps it out, gets air to the opening in the front, tries to cool down the engine. We talked about our track temperatures. It's very easy to see that it's not normally what it's like when we head to Daytona Beach, Florida. You can see it's very dark here at the Speedway. It's overcast skies. It's only 76 degrees Fahrenheit. The track temp going up a little bit since the B-main. It's up to 81 degrees Fahrenheit, but still a relatively cool evening. That means that the track's not going to be as slick, a little bit more grip, and a little bit easier on those engine temps. Still not a walk in the park, but that outside lane starting to get the support that it needs to really put up a fight. You got the 2 to the 32 now joining them. The 88 of Mark Jorgensen Jr. moving through the field after starting 13th, trying to become the first driver in iSuperspeedway.com Racing Series history. Somehow, never has a driver won the B-main, backed it up with the trip to victory lane in the A-main on the same race night. So he's trying to do so. He's kind of stuck, though, where he is. He has help from the 31 of Chris Basidi. Behind them, the 45 of Kyle Geary, continuing that impressive run. That machine started 4th, slid back to 11th, and that got close. The 2 car almost on the left rear, and the 7 jumps to the high side, and look at Rodney Wofford.
Oh man, lap car, that made it real sketchy. Rod Mitten now is going to get lapped very quick. But to the top spot once again goes Rodney Wofford with a lot of help from Donnie Giratano. Seth DeMerchant now leads the outside line. Josh Ball didn't want it to happen, but he kind of just had to subdue in because, man, that 7 got to his outside, and there was a whole lot thinking going on there because he just had to let it happen. If he would have went up any further, it would have been a wreck. As you see a few cars down on pit road. Still in a caution-free fare here on lap number 14 as Rodney Wofford is flying around in the lead at the moment from Donnie Giratano. Giratano really feeling strong right now. Remember, he's the car that Rodney and Seth want to win from what they've told us in recent weeks, and we'll see if they try to make that happen tonight. But as we speak right now, Rodney's sitting pretty. Won a lot this season. He is still in the lead, and well, here comes a friendly sight for him, Seth DeMerchant, and I like to call it team control because right now, Wicked Autosports controls both lines of racing right now, and they are sitting pretty. We've seen them do it before, and they've worked it well. Let's see how they do it tonight.
We talked about strong teams, the Henrik team, who only has 1 out of their 4 drivers in the championship. They know they need to start to get the job done here late on in this season if they want to be able to get everybody into the party with them. We've also talked about how strong teams like Big Block Motorsports have been. Big City Motorsports has had strong runs, but Wicked team right now in total domination. They own the top 3. The 88, though, he doesn't know what he's played with, Petey. That was expected. Seth DeMerchant gets the push from Jorgensen, drops right back down, and the inside line is now all Wicked Motorsports with Autosports over the 32, the 7, and the 2 down low. However, that maneuver does set set the 88 up with his teammate. Neither of these machines have a win yet. The 88 and the 48 Henrik Carr's teammates. The Nationwide Chevy working with the Cobalt Tools Chevy on the outside. It's Jorgensen and the 48 of Josh Ball. It's really a set right now of two power teams leading this field.
And man, these guys are doing a strong job right now, and here we go, Mark Jorgensen now with a lot of side draft there from here in town. The outside line's not going to do much with Ball and Jorgensen being the only cars out there. I'm sorry, but there is no help for them at the moment. They need more than just two cars to make this happen. Will Dijon Tomaso make a statement here? Oh man, Josh Ball's going to come down onto Dijon Tomaso's bumper. John Tomaso obviously not too happy about that one. Jorgensen's going to get in the line though. He's considering it. He's considering, does he want to leave his friend and get a better chance to win, or does he want to wait for his friend? And well, I guess Mark Jorgensen saying, oh man, Jorgensen has no idea what he wants to do here, and it's really hurting Josh Ball at the end of the day, because now Josh Ball is sent up the river without a paddle here after lots of contact, lots of controversy, and obviously probably a really, really confused Josh Ball after that odd exchange. I really don't know what Jorgensen was trying to do.
Again, he got on the left rear of that 51 of Voltmans. Voltmans came down the hill, and that was almost really bad for the 88. Now it's the Best Buy Ford Fusion to go to the outside lane. Oltmans now is the lead car in a two-car tandem that features the 48 of Josh Ball on the back end. Jorgensen slides up to the back bumper of Donny Giratano. He is trailed by Carson Dijon Tomaso, who is holding his own after starting on pole position, scored this time by the stripe still in P7. So the 48 and the 88 again teammates. I was going to say that PD, if that 88 got clear, wouldn't have been surprised if he jumped up to get with Josh Ball, but again, more contact that time with Oltmans, got everybody scattered, and now you find Oltmans' machine leading the outside. This Josh Ball leave him that opening, and he jumped right on it. With Henrik Carr's going to jump down in line. No help for the 51.
That was almost tough right there, as all these guys are continuing to stack up here in the front. And man, that was a really odd turn of events here, as Mark Jorgensen just was really indecisive about his move. Now here comes Rod Flagg on the outside with help from his teammate Frank Busilia III. Busilia's won the season, Flagg hasn't. Here they come. Will they take it 3 wide? No, they won't. They'll give it right to Jason Oltmans, who has a win this season. And Oltmans is looking for a second as he leads the outside charge. These guys going at it now. To the front, they are trying to charge. They are outside a second. They are almost to Seth the Merchant, and the number 32 here is the 51 of Oltmans is sitting pretty right now on that outside line with a lot of help from league administrator and most recent champion Rod Flagg, as the outside line has a head of steam. Here they come flying down the Daytona backstretch. These cars are going speeds of 205 miles per hour, but to these guys it's all about one. Position number one as these guys continue to battle for it. Jason Oltmans is there, but once again, the outside line comes up just a little bit short, and it's going to fall again to them Wicked All Sports Chevys. Now Rod Flagg finds a spot in the line, and, well, I guess the real winner in this whole situation was Rod Flagg, who got himself a little bit better position to fight for the win towards this race as we get closer to the end, as now Seth the Merchant's going to go outside, and I think he's just trying to clear his nose off.
Things starting to really pick up here at Daytona. Almost halfway through this one. Going to be halfway through the A-main this time by. Still, I was going to say clean and green. That'd be a lie because it is really chaotic inside of the top 10. Something interesting to note, PD, that's his Wicked Autosports machines up front. There's still all 3 of them controlling the first 3 spots down low, the 32, the 7, and the 2. They're in the same radio channel with the Henrik cars, who are not all that far behind them, possibly trying to work together to get good finishes, because again, there are some of them that need a win, but there are other drivers up inside the top 5 in this race, top 10 in this race, that are close enough that they can get enough points to get to the top 5 in the championship standings before the end of the year, qualify in on points. The outside lane going to prevail that time. The 94, Frank Busilia, as well, a defending champion, knows how to push. He'll give the lead this time to Jason Oltmans. Now the 94 going to be pushed by the 6. We're halfway home, though, at Daytona. Feature race 9 and A-main action from the World Center of Racing. We stay green. We'll step away for just a moment. Go LSRTV side by side. The race in the checkered flag only heating up.
not a move. Truex on the outside, contact made. 56 slides it at a 4. Who's going to be at the stripe? Dead even, give it to Ryan Truex. Truex is your winner over Tandy.
207 miles an hour on the outside lane for the Nationwide Insurance Chevrolet. That is the lead car on the outside charge. This time by the start-finish line, 14 laps to go. You're watching feature race 9 of the iSuperspeedway.com Racing Series. There you go, contact! Carson DeJohn Tommaso turned around. Huge wreck coming out of the trial. Multiple cars going to pile on in. Josh Ball involved, Jorgensen, Connolly, and company. Just like that, contact through the tri-oval and catastrophe for many of the drivers inside the top 5. Replay goes up now, PD, but that just got real ugly real quick. Terrible incident.
Yeah, well, it's going to be Jason Oltmans who ends up leading it, though. But like you said, bad wreck there. And, well, Carson John Tommaso, our pole setter, was right in the middle of it. And here's how it all went down in turn 1. It all started when John Tommaso got a little bit of a hook there from Mark Jorgensen. And, well, they went for a wild ride. Jorgensen and Ball and Guarantano there, and everyone just piled in behind. Man, it was just a big, bad issue. Dan Harrington went for an awful ride there. Man, he had a hard hit. And, well, that'll bring out our first caution of the night on lap number 27. I don't expect any of these leaders to pit. They can make it on fuel, but obviously a new curve into this race because there's going to be a whole bunch of different guys that have been up front all night. For example, Austin Carver in the 16 is going to be 6th. He is such a quiet driver, but he makes noise with his little passes, and he's going to be up to 6th in a good position here. I'm going to be keeping my eye on Austin Carver in the Georgia Bulldogs machine.
So for the second time on the evening, it's a major incident. It's the third time overall. First caution flag during our A main. It's going to put us within inside of 10 laps to go. As we talked about earlier, fuel not a thing, so we don't need to really worry about that. We slowed them down for what was quite a hard hit. You talk about Jason Oltmans up at the top of the field right now. The Best Buy machine leads. Let's mention the I-5 bonus, and a lot of the drivers that were in contention for that were just in that one, but one. We'll talk about the I-5 bonus. It's $5 for the top 5 the previous week as a bounty. If they win it and back up a top 5 with the checkered flag, you get $5. If nobody claims that PD, $5 is added. The largest we've seen was Brandon Chaburko, who won $65 back on February the 13th. Richard Holiday won the following week, $5. So it didn't get much further than that. Since then, nobody's won it. We're up to $50 this week in the I-5 bonus. The driver's eligible. Helping the car sit in P4 right now. Rodney Wofford doing a really good job. Avoided that incident. He sits 4th right now. He's eligible, as well as Dana Osborne's number 8, Josh Hanner's number 24, Elliott Leach is 42, who's not in the race tonight, and Greg Hooks is number 98 machine. We talk about the 88, though. People want to bring this up. We said that nobody's ever won the B main, gone back-to-back to take the A main. The 88 machine was on track to do so, and that machine is destroyed. He's on the pit lane. He is still not back out on track after taking a tow. Already off of the lead lap. Pretty much safe to say that that wreck, I guess not even a record, but that streak is going to continue tonight.
Yeah, and well, I mean, obviously unfortunate issue for him, but he'll probably gather his composure here and get ready to fight back for any positions he can. So obviously tough break, but you know, the grittiest drivers can fight through adversity, and that's what I look to see out of him here. Should be exciting to watch. Also exciting to watch to see what these guys really have under their hoods here. Some of the guys we haven't seen, like Daniel Ferguson, who's now 6th after Austin Carver had come down pit road. That number 99, we haven't talked about him all season, but he's been here every week fighting for it. And man, that old smoky moonshine machine really wants to find his way to the front. It's not dew shine, his is straight up moonshine. And well, Daniel Ferguson wants to make a name for himself in this race. I think this is a great place for him to do it. We will see if Dan Ferguson can make it happen here. He'll be starting in 6th, right behind the number 7 of Rodney Wofford. He'll be among great company. We'll see what he can make of it. And obviously your top 3 is going to be Oltmans, DeMerchant, Busilia, and Wofford. That's your top 4. None of them guys need a win. They all have a win already. We start talking about guys who need a win when you get to our past season champion, defending champion, Rod Flagg, and Daniel Ferguson. Shane McKeechin, who won 3 races last season, almost won the championship, has had an awful season this season. He wants to get a win. Chris Passini needs one. Basically, the whole top 10 is split. If you're in the front top 5, with the exception of Rod Flagg, you don't need a win. You're just out there getting more wins, having a good old time, just here for the fun of it. If you're anywhere from 5th to about 10th, I'd say, even actually basically the whole rest of the field with the exception of Josh Hanner, you need a win here. So these guys are going to be getting up there fighting for every single position they can. And, well, I mean, right now, yeah, cream rises to the top, and everyone who's won a race this season, with the exception of Hanner, is up in the top 4 trying to make it happen. We'll see if they can see we can see another repeat winner. And, well, for Rod Flagg and Dan Ferguson, it's go time. You got to find your way to the front real quick. You won't have a whole lot of time to do it.
We're going to try to go up for the first time tonight. Our LSRTV 8 race reporter, Seth the Merchant, it's Evan Pasoko and PDJ Seller up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yep.
Well, things were looking quite interesting there. We stepped away for a quick commercial. Lap 20 came back, and it was big. Good news for you guys is that it was behind you. That number 32 machine sits second right now. Your teammates only 2 more spots behind you. How's it looking right now after starting 12th? Very quickly got up front.
Pretty good. Just trying to get to the front here. The caution kind of ruined our race a little bit because we're restarting on the outside, and it takes like 2 laps for the outside to actually move, so we got to hope for it to stay green here if we have a shot.
The hope was it appeared to try to get that 2 machine into victory lane this evening. We talked about this throughout the couple of weeks, how that would get all 3 of your guys' cars in. He was collected late there. You're still sitting up there with Rodney. Both of you guys already have a win. Rodney's going for $50 tonight. You get to push him and maybe split him with it. What's the strategy here for the next, we'll call it about 9 laps to go by the time we go back green?
We'll see what happens here. I really want to win too, but we'll see. The plan was originally to get Donnie the win, but he unfortunately was in that wreck, so we'll see what happens.
Well, that machine has been strong. You're going to be on the outside of the front row in second. Your teammate's going to be right behind you. Lights are off on top of the pace car set. Before we let you go, any shout-outs you want to throw?
Just you guys for broadcasting this, and thanks for letting me be in race reporter.
Well, it's good news for you that we didn't talk to you earlier because you didn't have to go through the B main. We wish you the best of luck, and hopefully we'll talk to that 32 once again in victory lane. Good luck here.
All right, thank you.
So that is our LSRTV in-race reporter currently running in the number 2 spot, Seth the Merchant. PD, you heard him talk about it there. His Wicked Autosport teammate involved in an incident, the number 2 machine of Donnie Giratano. Now back and out of this race, essentially tough break for that team, which again puts us in that situation you were talking about where everybody up here, they've already won. These guys are going for seconds.
It will be Jason Oltmans and Seth the Merchant, Frank Busilia, and Rodney Wofford fighting out on this restart. The Ford First Mustang, obviously, in turns 3 and 4. Brett Bodine hasn't got a lot of action this race. He'll be trying to just keep himself out of business here. Hopefully last time we'll have to see the pace car here, but I wouldn't be too surprised if we saw it again because these boys know it is go time here as they round turn 4. And, well, getting ready for what should be a exciting restart here. The first restart of the night, actually. So these guys obviously have been pretty calm, cool, and collected tonight. Now the tempers might start to rage here as we get ready for the restart. The 51 of Jason Oltmans leading him down the Best Buy machine. Can he get the good jump he needs on the restart, or will DeMerchant and Wofford have something up their sleeve? We're about to find out. Pace car going the way. Green flag is out, and Seth DeMerchant gets a way better restart immediately out of the gate than the 51. Now it's just about how they can compose themselves heading into turn 1. But really, though, awesome restart there for DeMerchant. Now they just have to keep the speed up as they travel off in turn 1.
And the 32, half a car length, not going to be enough because the inside picks up that upper hand once again into the quarter. The 7 and the 32 teammates, not surprised that they're going to try to work together. All of a sudden, all of those Hanerick cars are gone inside of the top 10, really. They just fell like a rock. We're talking about the first driver up in the standings right now without a win is Rod Flagg. Behind him, Shane McKeechin. Daniel Ferguson, we've talked about that machine, a great run tonight. Chris Passini as well, Kyle Geary, all of these drivers in good running positions right now, well within a position at least that they could challenge for the checkered flag tonight. It all depends though on caution flags. We saw the one flying to be main P that left us with just 1 lap to go. We get a caution at 4 laps to go or less. This race will end under caution flag conditions. If we get one before that, still going to have a chance to set us up for one more restart. At least right now, you're seeing now big checkup out of the corner. The number 4 of Derek Walker. That machine has ended up in the outside wall. He got turned by the number 09 of William Roberts Jr. Walker was sent up into the fence. He didn't plow it, but got into the fence. That car damaged. He falls back.
And now we have up front a whole lot of action. Rod Flag and not Seth the Merchant, the number 28 Shane McKeechin have found themselves in a very good position to get up front and try to challenge for this win. Here they come, those two traveling at a fast rate of speed with the outside. It's all about the Merchant and Wofford here. The Wicked All Sports teammates wanted to dethrone Jason Oltmans. Oltmans is trying to hang on, and really all these guys, like we said, a couple times now going for fun. Rod Flags isn't in this for the funsies, he's in this one for the victory. He needs it bad. Same story for McKeechin and Dana Osborne, who's hung out on this one after almost not making the event. So all these guys right now are going at it, and for the lead, here we go, 32, trying to take it away from him, will not have the head of steam he needs this time by, will lose quite a bit of ground actually, unfortunately, and now those guys will have to regain their composure and fight back as the number 26 of Rod Flag is doing all he can to get up there on the bumper of these guys and fight back. Rod Flag needs it the worst out of all of them. Can he get there? He needs a lot of help, and currently he is not getting it as these guys are starting to form two Signify lines. The next car left on the outside line to help them fight will be Kyle Geary in the 45 Barbasol machine, who is also in very desperate need of a win.
Problem for Rod Flag, the problem for Shane McKeechin is there's a roadblock in front of them. There's absolutely nowhere for them to go. This lead pack, still 21 cars deep within 3 seconds of each other. If you count the back 3 as stragglers, 14 within 9/10, and a lot of it, a bulk, is right here inside of the top 10. Now 4 cars to the high side, another tandem going to join the 32 and the 7, led by Kyle Geary, pushed by the 24, whose car was painted by the 45. Josh Hanner giving it a push to the number 45 Barbasol Ford Fusion. Trying to get up to the field is Kyle Geary after starting in 4th. So far the biggest mover, Shane McKeechin, started 20th to get to where he is right now, PD. But Flag, he really wants the Merchant and Wofford to lose some speed. He needs to be able to jump out in line. He's not going to be able to do anything from P3 on the bottom. He just can't go anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, obviously he needs to find his way to the outside lane, but unfortunately for him, I don't see that happening within the next couple of laps. So we'll see what he is capable of, because they now are coming around this time by to get 4 laps to go. On the outside line is starting to become a little bit less, because Josh Hanner is ditching the 45 of Kyle Geary. He's going to try to pass him and see if he can make a move on him here as these guys get going. A whole lot of different stories up front, though. The main one is Jason Oltmans is leading this race, going for his 2nd win on the season. Can he get it done? He had an awful 2014 season 4, I believe it was. Actually, no, season 3 for the series, and he is trying to redeem himself now in season 4. Can he get a 2nd win of the season as they come off turn number 4? Here's going to have a lot of help. Seth the Merchant also trying to get a 2nd win of the season, and the Merchant has been oh so strong lately. Can he pull it off? Big run of steam in the back from Dana Osborne and Chris Passini as we are coming to 3 to go, Evan. A whole lot of cars starting to show some muscle. It's go time. Everyone has to find their spots.
In the 45-24, they drop down to the bottom from the outside, and now out of nowhere, here come 2 more cars. The 8 of Dana Osborne, the 31 machine, into the mix as well. That's Chris Passini. The top 9 cars, less than 0.3 of a second, separate them. Here's when it's going to get real close. At 3 laps to go, they're going to start to side pinch on the outside. They're going to squeeze them down. They're going to pinch, try to get a side draft. That's where you can very easily see contact. Watch that 8 trying to hang on for dear life, so close to Kyle Geary. That is exactly what can lead to a caution. It's exactly what led to the only one we've seen so far tonight, but really starting to see the action and anticipation, rather, can't combine those into one word, all starting to pick up here. Hanner goes to the high side. Did they go 3 wide now? The 31 to the bottom. Can he keep the nose in there?
He's trying to. That was almost direct. Josh Hanner almost came down. Thought better of it, trying again. Pasini is forced to let him in. And now these guys are going at it up front, though. It is all about the Merchant versus Oltmans now. It appears as though it will be these guys to battle for the win unless Busilia can find a hole to make a move.
Coming back.
He hasn't found it so far as the Merchant is continuing to travel at good race speed. Wofford caution out, wreck in the back. Jason Oltmans wins the race. And, well, meanwhile in the back, Jimmy Todd has absolutely annihilated.
Oh, Austin Carver's Bulldogs machine is destroyed, and they're passing him at 200 miles an hour. Very, very close there. But contact in corner number 2. Number 36 pushing the 60 of Austin Carver. Sean Turner gets on the left rear a little bit, hooks him around. Carver's machine goes on the apron, comes back up, takes out Jimmy Todd. And 92 looks like he got a piece of it. Caution flag will fly. And just as we said, Seth the Merchant was starting to come back. Jason Oltmans had the nose in front of him coming to the white flag. This race will end under caution flag conditions. And the top 4, PD, drivers that have already won, they dominated this one late.
Yeah, well, that was a good race for those guys, but obviously that's one less guy we'll see in the chase now, so unfortunate that Rob Flagg never got a true chance to show his muscle here as the caution came out prematurely, but, well, Jason Oltmans, it's going to be a second win on the season. Oltmans, who had a really good ride today, obviously showed up in a big way, and he is going to get a second win on the season. I'll be excited to hear what Oltmans has to say, as he is probably very enthused as well. And second will officially be Frank Busilia the third, and in third is Seth the Merchant. But it's a night all about Jason Oltmans, Evan, and Ford too. Ford top 2, first time I think I've ever seen that in these races. And, well, I guess say top 3 too, because the pace cars out there leading with the checkered.
Yeah, a little bit of a different paint scheme on board the 51 this week. That Ford Fusion, Best Buy on board, alternating with Geek Squad throughout the races. He will capitalize. He becomes the first driver on the year to win more than one feature race event. The number 51 takes home checkered flag number 2. He'll come across the start-finish line, and after starting this race in 8th position, qualified in through the heats in the Dash for Cash, checkered flag, feature race 9, and win number 2, Jason Oltmans. Best Buy Ford Fusion to victory lane over Frank Busilia, Seth the Merchant, Rodney Wofford, and then first driver in the standings without a win so far this year, Rod Flagg. You said it there, PD. The big thing is now we go into an off week, we go into an all-star race, then there's 2 races to go. A feature race followed by an endurance race. Only 2 more races remain that can allow drivers to qualify for the chase, and so far, there's only 6 people in it. It could be a small chase field.
Could really be a small chase field. Well, I mean, this is it. There's only a few more weeks left to do it, but lucky for us, we will get to hear the thoughts and opinions of our top 3 here, so please stay tuned on LSRTV for that.
Well, the drivers celebrate. They congratulate the number 51 of Jason Oltmans, who wins, and they congratulate him with a little bit of a nudge there. That car going to try to at least survive to the checkered flag to celebrate. Oltmans picks up win number 2 in Daytona Beach. We're going to step away for the final time tonight on LSRTV and head down to the pit lane, where we'll talk to Oltmans, Busilia, and DeBurchin and send you off to a break and Memorial Day weekend, and then we'll be back in action at Talladega in 2 weeks' time. However, the post-race show from LSRTV at Daytona for feature race 9 on the other side. Jason Oltmans, your main event winner.
in the outside, contact made, 56 slides in at a 4, who's going to be at the stripe, dead even, give it to Ryan Truex. Truex is your winner over Tandy.
Back live in Daytona Beach, Florida at the Daytona International Speedway. Feature race 9 on the Season 4 campaign with the iSuperspeedway.com Racing Series is in the books. And it goes to Jason Oatmans, who won feature race 6 earlier on in the year. Takes home number 9, now becomes the first driver on the year to win more than one heat race event. So number 51, Best Buy Ford Fusion, your winner tonight. But I've caught up on the pit lane to get our interviews kicked off. Post-race, down with our LSRTV 8-race reporter. We just talked to him. Not quite the result they were looking for. It's a solid points night, although they're already locked in. We've caught up in the stall of the number 32 of Seth the Merchant. Seth, you guys were on the outside. 2 laps to go. Coming to the white, you had a good car pushing you. Rodney, your teammate there. Caution flag flew, not enough time. What happened?
We were just saving the engine of Rodney. We were going to make a run for it off turn 4 there, but we got a caution, so the outside lane, we didn't have the help we needed, so kind of by ourselves. I think we had a shot, though, if it would stay green.
You guys got left up there. There was not a lot of support behind you until you got back to Geary and that 98 of Hooks, who were a couple of car lengths back. You were racing there with Altmans. You were racing there with Busilla. You guys were on the outside for essentially that entire final stint after you guys stacked up just nose to tail like that. You guys didn't want to come back down in line and wait. You guys tried to play it aggressive. You almost got cleared down into 1 on the restart there. It was an aggressive approach. Looking back at it there, and we know that these races can always come down to this caution at the end. Our B main almost ended the same way. We got a 1-lap shootout there. You look at and obviously hindsight's always 20/20, but you look back at it and you think that maybe if you go forward and try to make that move a little bit earlier with the possibility of a caution, you guys could have done it, or was it necessary to save that Sevens engine as long as you did, if you even wanted to give them a shot because they were that good down low?
I think we needed to save the engine to even have a shot for it, because Frank was doing an amazing job pushing all race. Every time we get a run, he'd stop it. So we kind of had to just save the motor and hope that on the last lap we could get by him somehow off 4.
Well, we look forward on the rest of this season. Still quite a few races until our chase officially begins. We do have an off week next week, and then we go All-Star Racing, feature race 10, 11, 12, and then technically number 13, the Draft Heart 300. So 4 races to go to get into this championship. You're in, Rodney's in. Again, you still guys want to get Donnie Giratano and do the same thing you guys did tonight, because there was one point there where you guys were the top 3 for a good chunk of it.
Yeah, that's our goal. We want to get all 3 of our team cars in the chase, so pretty much that's the schedule until we get to the chase. We're going to try to get Donnie a win.
I know it doesn't count as a win for the chase, although you guys have already taken care of that, but is this number 32 going to take home an All-Star trophy in 2 weeks?
Oh, we're going to try.
You got a 3rd tonight. You feel like you had a car that could contend for the win. You guys dominated. The cards did not fall in your direction at the end, Seth. It was a good run for you and the team. A podium finish. Who makes it happen for you?
Oh, definitely Rodney, Donnie. All the guys are wicked. We worked really good together tonight. Probably better than we have in any other race.
Well, you almost capitalized on that one. The team shining strong tonight, Seth. Thanks for talking with us as well. Thanks for being our in-race reporter. Best of luck. Enjoy your off week, and we'll see you in Talladega in 2 weeks' time for the All-Star.
All right. Thanks for having me, guys.
Again, that is your 3rd place finisher in the Axe Body Spray Energizer Battery Chevrolet. The 32 started 12th and comes home in 3rd. A little bit further down the pit lane with the driver that started 15th, comes home 2nd and was in a spot to maybe step at a line late, but a caution shut down those hopes. PDJ Zeller, you're in the pit box of Frank Busilia.
Yeah, I'm down here with Frank Busilia, and Frank, what a race it was for you and your crew. Take us through your night and what happened from your perspective there, and what it has to be a exhilarating second for you.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. Didn't start very well with being mid-pack, but yeah, it's tough with the temps and the draft package. You gotta time your stuff up high. Just gotta be patiently aggressive and make your moves at the right time. Unfortunately, they were working out tonight pretty well.
Yeah, Frank, and obviously you're already locked in the chase, and this run has to be big for you, but is the goal in the next few weeks to try to get your teammate Rod Flagg and Shane McKeechin in the chase? Because obviously you don't want to be out there fighting with your own. You want to have teammates out there as well battling for a championship.
Yeah, I'd mentioned to Rod in the channel, if we had managed to clear the 32, maybe try to pull out and do something. I was content pushing Jason until a lap to go. But yeah, that's the goal. I'm glad they were up there. Shane and Rod, they've had some difficulties this season, but glad to see them get a good finish too. We're going to try to get all of us in the chase here soon enough, hopefully. So.
Exactly, Frank, and obviously you didn't want to see this race finish under caution, but if it would finish under green conditions, do you think there's any chance of you finding some sort of daylight to try to get up there and take the win?
I was talking to Jason afterwards, and really we were in the same town. I was going to push him until there was, we crossed the white and maybe pull up, but then you had Seth and Rodney together. Who knows, they may have gone 3 wide and I'd have dropped like a rock to the back, so... just have to look at the good with the bad. I'm really happy with the second, and just happy for Jason again to see his little North Star team in victory lane. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, obviously always cool to see single car teams getting victory lane, and Jason has to be by far the best of the season. But for you, Frank, what's your goals heading into next week as we go back to Talladega?
Just to stay up front, accrue more points. Really trying to help my teammates, Rod Flagg, Shane McKeechin, and Ray Rittenauer. Didn't make it tonight, but anything I can really do for them if we're in a position to get them a better finish or to win. Since I'm already locked in, I have nothing to lose, so we're going to try and get them a shot.
All right, well, before I let you go, Frank, who do you got to thank? Who makes it happen for you and the number off 94 team?
Well, first off, you guys always putting on a hell of a show in the broadcast. Appreciate it. And then Rod Flagway Racing, again with my teammates. Just want to thank my family, and we'll go get them next week. Appreciate you guys.
All right, good luck to you next week, Frank.
Woo, Frank, woo!
Woo!
All right. Meanwhile, down victory lane, Evan Pasoko is caught up with a single car team of Jason Oltmans.
He's already got the mic, and this is 2 times now. Talladega and Daytona. The single-car operation becomes the first driver on the year to win 2 feature races. Jason, the Best Buy Ford Fusion, not Geek Squad this week. Best Buy on board, so got the Best Buy as Best Buy as primary and Geek Squad on secondary. You got the win in this one. You started 8th position. You qualified in. You didn't have to deal with the B main. That was a whole different story for a lot of these drivers. You led up front. Frank was strong there, and a caution flag late made it a little bit less gut-wrenching, I think, on that last lap for you.
Evan, you're a pro. I can just sit there and yell and scream and throw stuff at you, and you just
unwavered.
I'm
used to Petey yelling and screaming in my ear while I'm talking, so...
It's, it ended up working out pretty good. I mean, it would have been awesome to had actually race into the end there. I mean, it's always better for you guys, too, to actually have it go green the entire way, at least, so we can get some green flag finishes, because that's always crazy. You always get side-by-side stuff at the super speedway tracks, so it worked out for me. I'll take it. So I'm glad. Hey, win number 2. That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, a lot of these other drivers, they're trying to help a team make it into the championship. You're just going out there for wins. You take home another piece of hardware. You got one at Dega, now Daytona. You've done everything so far except win an endurance race. We got a couple of those still coming up. You look forward, though, 4 races to go till this championship starts. We talk about how a lot of teams are going to be trying to play that team strategy. Just out here running your own races in that number 51. You guys happy with how you've been performing?
Yeah, I certainly... What? Hang on, my wife has come into victory lane as well, and she's pointing at herself. My wife is awesome.
Oh, man.
She says, you can talk. Go ahead. Jump on the broadcast, dear.
I'm pretty awesome. I let my husband keep a steering wheel out.
That's why I thank her every time. No, the
There you go.
North Star Motorsports has been doing really well this year for a single car team, because there's been plenty of races this year where I'm like, boy, this is pretty lonely out here if you don't have anybody to help. So I've been trying to be a nice guy to everybody, and every once in a while somebody's like, oh, hey, Jason's a nice guy, maybe I'll actually push him. So I owe a huge thanks to Frank tonight. He got me to the lead to begin with, and then he actually stayed behind me there. So
Well, you guys were strong tonight. You've been strong well, pretty much every race all season, and if you don't get the result you want, it's because it's something out of your control. We have an off week, and then we go into the All-Star Open at Talladega. You looking forward to taking that one again, and really maybe just take the next 5 and not let anybody else get anything else?
You know what? Like you kind of said, let's keep the chase field as small as possible here and just keep having the same guys win over and over again. So historically, Daytona's a horrible track for me. Like, I don't think any of the times that Rod's hosted a race, I don't think I've ever won like a feature race at Daytona. It's always been Talladega, so I was kind of surprised that I hit it tonight. So.
Well, four out of the top 5, but the top 4 finishers tonight already with a win. You among them, your second one now in the books. Before we let you go, sponsors, shout-outs, all those good people that made it possible for that 51 to get win number 2.
I need to keep putting Best Buy on the car. Every time I have Geek Squad and we're finishing outside. Well, no, I think 2 times this year I've had Best Buy on the car as my secondary, and 2 for 2 on wins. I actually thought about that earlier. I was like, we got to switch the luck up. So Best Buy and Geek Squad, that's pretty cool. It's the same company. It's a Minnesota company. So like to support those guys. Otherwise, again, I've got to thank my wife for allowing me to have a steering wheel on my desk. And on a serious note, it is Law Enforcement Memorial Day today. So just want to throw that out there real quick. Definitely want to support that in the Thin Blue Line, and we'll go from there. Thank you guys for another awesome race.
Well, thanks for talking with us, Jason. You go enjoy this one, enjoy that hardware as well, and we'll see you for the All-Star in 2 weeks.
Love you too. Bye, guys.
So that is your winner tonight, PD. The Superstition paid off. The Best Buy Ford now 2 times. He's ran it 2 times in Victory Lane. The 51 takes it home tonight. The point that he mentioned, the point that I brought up to him, is this chase field is really small. I said it to you right after that. 6 drivers have won, technically 7. Brandon Chaburko suspended, no longer eligible, suspended after not for an iSuperspeedway infraction, something on iRacing, can't get on until this season is done with. Unfortunate for that team. 6 drivers, and then again we talked about how the only other way to qualify without a win is a top 5 in points. 3 of the top 5 in points have wins, so really this could be a very small chase field, but still with 4 races to go with our extended season, as far as a little bit more races than we saw 1 season ago, the door is still wide open. But if these guys keep putting down the performances like they did right there, it's going to be pretty hard for some of those other guys to beat them.
Obviously, it will be very hard for them, and yeah, like you said, very small chase field. We currently only will have 5 guys in the chase. Actually, no, we'll have 6, and it will upgrade to 7 because, as I just got the update on the website, Robbie Roy has moved up to 5th after a night in points without a win, so Robbie Roy would as well be in the chase. But so 7 guys, obviously not a whole lot to battle it out for the championship, but I expect that to change. I mean, this league is pretty consistent with different winners, and well, next week we probably will see a different one, and just expect that to keep being a factor here. But overall tonight, good race. Move into next week with same high expectations, and well, I'm at a loss for words. Tonight was a good event. I can't wait for more here, and as always, tune in to Live Sim Racing TV for your fix of sim racing needs.
And again, that close, half a lap to what would have been, I'm sure, a barn burner of a white flag last lap finish. It ends under caution. We saw the excitement in the B main, and you're right, you just mentioned those updated standings. DeMerchant, Hanner, Oltmans, and Wofford at the top 4. That means that only 1 driver inside the top 5 has not have a win yet. That is the number 14 machine, who came home or was running strong, has to settle for 17th. But again, that makes the chase field right now at only 7 cars. That would be a record small. Again, still 4 races to go, but these guys that have won, the veterans, coming out strong, they continue to dominate, and Jason Oltmans wins it tonight from Daytona. We talked to them. Let's give you the LSRTV full field rundown here from Daytona and let you know where everybody stacked up when it was all said and done. Jason Oltmans taking home the win. Frank Busilia in 2nd, and Seth the Merchant coming home in 3rd. It was Rodney Wofford in 4th, and Rod Flagg rounding out our top 5. 6th to Shane McEachin, 7th to Dana Osborne, Kyle Geary 8th, 9th position to Josh Hanner, and Greg Hooks rounding out the top 10. 11th to Chris Bassini, Matt Bontempi 12th, 13th Daniel Ferguson, Kent Connolly in 14th to 15th to Sean Turner, Ron Minton in 16th, 17th Robbie Roy, Josh Ball back to 18th position, a 19th for William Roberts Jr., and Matt Pelletier with a 20th. Last 2 cars on the lead lap, Derek Walker 21st, that car was in the fence. 22nd, Jimmy Todd. The lap down cars 23rd through 26th, going to be Dan Harrington, pole sitter Carson DeJohn Tommaso, who really did not get anything going for that team after starting on pole position. Jorgensen 25th, 26th position is Giratano, and then Carver, Evans, and Mark Brown behind the fence. And this one on the hook, PD. We have a week off for Memorial Day weekend, and then it's probably one of the most exciting races of the year. We got the All-Star Open and then the iSuperspeedway All-Star Race in 2 weeks' time at Talladega. That one for sure going to be fun.
Should be a whole lot of fun. Can't wait to tune in and watch that. Well, actually, hope you guys tune in and watch that. I don't have to. I get to see it live.
I'm hoping you're going to tune in, Pete, unless you're going to leave me up here.
Oh, no, I'll probably be up here. I like my seat. I actually got it engraved.
View.
It is a nice view, you know. There's a big window. They usually clean it up. Last week they didn't clean it. That was an issue. But no, can't wait to be here next weekend. Hopefully, good race. And I'm not gonna lie here, Evan. I kind of hope that all these guys that keep winning stop winning. I want to see a different winner. This chase needs like 2 more drivers.
Well, the only thing that All-Star race does not do is a ticket to the championship. No points. You can still get a win. You still get quite the nice piece of hardware, but you're not going to get a ticket to the championship if you win it. We look forward to seeing you in 2 Fridays for the iSuperspeedway.com All-Star Race on LSRTV. Until then, I want to thank all the people that make this possible here tonight. For more information on the iSuperspeedway.com racing series, go to their website at iSuperspeedway.com. Follow them on Twitter at iSuperspeedway or through Facebook at facebook.com/iSuperspeedway. Stay up to date with LSRTV online at livesimracing.com and through Facebook at facebook.com/livesimracingtv. Use our PR code PR-2015 LSRTV, available on new iRacing subscriptions only. Get 3 months plus a late model, a $42 value for just $12, $30 off. A great deal on that. If you want to find post-race recaps, news, other press, that can all be viewed through our partners at Race Chaser Online at racechaseronline.com and through iRacing News at iRacing.com/iRacingNews or InRacingNews.com. Until next time, on behalf of the LSRTV broadcast crew this evening, alongside myself, PDJ Zeller, our executive producer, as always, is Laura Lawson, myself, Evan Pasoko. Congratulations to Jason Altman's Best Buy Ford Fusion, second time on the year, taking home a checkered flag. Everybody enjoy your Memorial Day weekend. Make sure to tune in. There's a lot of real-world racing stuff going on Sunday. You got Monaco, Indy, and the Coke 600. So much to come. Until then, good night from Daytona Beach. We'll see you in 2 weeks' time from Talladega when we go all-star racing.